introduce the person of eminence, Professor Dr. K. Muthuchelian. Professor Dr. K. Muthuchelian is a world-renowned biology scientist with more than 30 years of teaching and research experience at different hierarchical levels, including professor, head and chairperson, vice chancellor. Currently, he is serving as the pro-vice chancellor at the Anand Sagar University, Bangalore. He obtained his doctoral degree from the School of Biological Sciences, Madurai Kamaraj University, Madurai, India. Subsequently, he had his postdoctoral research from University of Ancona, Italy. He has been conferred with prestigious Doctor of Science in recognition of his research accomplishment on biomass resource management and technology. He has been conferred with several fellowships from prominent foreign and Indian scientific societies, including International Energy Foundation Canada, the National Academy of Biological Sciences, Paleobotanical Society, Zoological Society of India, National Environment Study Academy, and Indian Applied Association for Microbiologists. He has guided over 81 students for research and 4 scholars for postdoctoral program, and 43 candidates have been awarded with a PhD under his supervision. In these 3 decades of research experience with more than 30 research projects with leading international and national organizations including IUCN in Switzerland, ICTP Italy, University of Reading UK, EPA USA, BSA UK, Euroscience France, Third World Network Malaysia, the World Water Council France, the Global Mountain Biodiversity Assessment Switzerland, Instituto di Agrario San Michele Taranto Italy, and Nitrogen Fixing Tree Association Hawaii USA. MAB program and National Biodiversity Authority MOEF and CC. He has published more than 220 research articles, 25 books, 42 book chapters, and more than 500 popular scientific research articles in SCI journal and magazines to attain his H index 23. Notably, he has authored 4 books of Uir Virimam, Biodiversity, the Current Status and Management in Tamil, and these books graciously was released by Honorable Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, former President of India, and His Excellency Dr. K. Roshaya, the Governor and the Chancellor Government of Tamil Nadu, widely appreciated by peace of scientists in the arena. Besides, he also involved in the steering committee in 12th State Planning Commission, Government of Tamil Nadu, and expert member in the Puducherry State Higher Education Council. He served as the chairman of NAGPIR team visits in many institutions across India and an active member for different panel and committees in UGC, DST, MNREC, MOEF, and CC. He received 40 prestigious international national awards into his academic credentials, including the first Indian science honored with the prestigious award by University of Ancona, Italy 1998, Lifetime Achievement Award in the Environmental Science, Food and Nutritional Science and Microbiology, twice the Merit of Excellence Award, Eminent Scientist Award, and Professor S. Kanayan Memorial Award. Tamil Nadu's Best Scientist in the Environmental Science by TNS-CST, the Best Scientist in the Environmental Management by Department of Environment, Government of Tamil Nadu, and he was awarded as the Best Vice Chancellor Award twice by the Indian Red Cross Society Tamil Nadu, and consequently awarded with Best Tamil Book in 2014 for Uir Virimam, and in 2015 for Nulagam Arivalagu Nulaivai in Tamil. The library, a gateway to knowledge by the Department of Tamil and Culture, Government of Tamil Nadu. He has brought academic and administrative reforms for vibrant administration and rigorous academic initiatives in his academic positions at various levels like Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Controller of Examiner, In Charge and Coordinator for the University with potential of excellence, a grant of 40 crores, member syndicate, Senate and Academic Council at higher educational institutions. During his tenure at Periyar University, in addition to creating a corpus fund of 80 crores, he established 5 new departments, 6 research centers, 4 constituent colleges and 3 government colleges. In addition, he has established several centers, cells including All India Civil Service Examination Free Coaching Center, Health Center, Women's Welfare Center, NET-SCT Free Coaching Cell and Internal Quality Assurance Cell for the benefit of students' community. Further, he explored the possibility of establishing Meta University, the concept of benefiting the students and the scholars to utilize the facility from other institutions. During his tenure at Periyar University, more than 22,000 students have been benefited to the Career Counseling and Placement Cell. In the domain of introducing innovative frontier and academic programs and courses, Dr. Muthuchelian is in the forefront in the higher education learning institutions in the state. Indeed, he has a long-term vision for transforming the academic and administrative systems with vision, mode and approach. His work stands as a monument to the individual. Above all, he is a kind person with noble heart, ready to extend his helping hand to the needy at any time. He has earned a lot of encomium from various people, professionals, colleagues, and from the students also. It may not be out of place to mention here that he is the role model for the young scientist who aspires to reach a higher level. I now request Professor Dr. K. Muthuchelian to enlighten us with the knowledge.
Welcome to our YouTube channel, Make Science Easy with Dr. KMC. Today we are going to see an interesting, of course, it's a scare, the event which is happening in and around the world. We call the coronavirus, in abbreviation COVID-19. If you like this lecture, please subscribe it. Today we are going to see the outbreak and its impact of this COVID-19 coronavirus on environment. Now everywhere in the world, since from December end of 2019 onwards, everywhere we have the slogan like Corona, Corona, Corona. See this, every part of the world, I think except Antarctica and Arctic region, every ecosystem now we have the serious problem of this corona is a health issue. See, now the activities everywhere, now in every media, they have been focusing on the how to get rid of this the problem, a virus called the coronavirus or COVID. Now every country has been taken a very serious of these, every individuals, every organizations, from a volunteer to everyone, they have taken a key role. We have been calling as a disaster management like any other events which have happened in the natural, by the natural or by the man-made in the ecosystem. Now the pandemic situation we are going to see a lot, and every country, almost all the activities have been almost freeze like anything, and they were started of the helplines, the service for the children, to the middleman, and then to the senior citizens, and everywhere, and what are the various precautions, how to we have to make it everything. So now every government make it as a vocal point about this this coronavirus, all these things. You could see the number of activities in and around us. Not only that, the Indian government has taken a very important role in getting rid of all these problems related to the COVID pandemic situation and health of every individual. In fact, the Indian disaster management also taken very serious, as I mentioned. They formed the guidelines and the MHA guidelines for the extended period of what the lockdown should be and how the lockdown should be happen and what are the precautions to be taken, everything. So our Indian Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji has taken almost a challenging task to work against this problem of this virus, because otherwise a focus also has been given as a media guide for the mass awareness about the COVID, we call the COVID era, and then the guidelines have been phrased, reopening of the unlock situation, and I think they started the stay updated about the COVID-19. What are the latest the infographics and videos related to the COVID situation. So, and then we have also have a separate Atma Nirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, also a transforming India of the situation also happened in India by our the slogan given by our the Narendra Modi ji. So everywhere you can see that the people are standing and with the mask, and then they are all almost to leave their original places to move elsewhere or move to their native and then move to their country and then move to your native places. So you could see these places almost everyone having the mask of to avoid of this the COVID the virus the spread over to the human being. And you can see every in station, the train station. You can see that in every the railway station. You could see people are without carrying of the social distance. I think you could see that they are sitting long queue and then waiting for a long time to board the trains to move from one place to another place. And not only the bus station and then the railway station and also people are all standing queue in the airport too, both the national airport and the international airport, everywhere in the world and including India. I think this is a situation that all people are standing and move to one place to another to catch their flights. This also you could see that such a scared the situation of the health issue. Now everywhere in the streets almost you could see that whole the shops were closed, no commercial activity, only people with the uniform, we can say that the uniform dresses to avoiding of all these the problem related to the COVID spread over to the human, one human to the another human, and the health workers, the sanitation workers, the doctors are all they're coming to the street and they're testing the COVID, the virus, whether the human being or a particular individual having positive or negative in the streets. You could see that in the uniform that in this dress. So this is the status of the alarming situation. Alarming situation, not only alarming and also a risk situation in India because of this coronavirus. The novel coronavirus outbreak started in 2019 with nickname COVID-19, a new strain of virus which can cause fever, number one, number two, cough, number three, the breathing difficulties in the lungs, then followed that pneumonia and even death in the humans. So this is the status of the symptoms of the COVID-19 have been spread from one human to another human, and later you have a lot of symptomatic problems in the human body. So this new coronavirus, the COVID-19, was first identified in Wuhan, China in December 2019. Then after this global outbreak is continuing still from December 19 onwards. So affected more than 50 lakhs people all over the world and has resulted in more than 3 lakhs deaths. So this is again only a figure. It's only a figure. But exactly the day by day the number of cases in terms of the mortality is increasing, and the number of cases with reference to the spread over and then the affected person are being increasing, and also simultaneously recovery is also happening in other parallel line. So the WHO has declared that this coronavirus outbreak from December 2019 a public health emergency of international concern. We call it the PHEIC initially, and later it was declared it as a pandemic because it spread almost all over the world, not only a restrict or epidemic to only the China. So now we will see what is coronavirus. Coronavirus, it belongs to a family of viruses called Coronaviridae and the order Nidovirales. nidovirales. So this coronavirus get their name from their crown-like structure or shape. It is a crown-like shape, and that's why the corona is a Latin for crown. It was coined and given the name as a corona. So structurally, it looks like a corona is as like a crown. That's why it is called corona. So these coronaviruses are found in animals and birds, and we call it the zoonotic because it is only in the animal origin, spread over is animal, as they are transmitted between animal and people, animal to people, animal to human. So there are two types. One is MERS. What is MERS? It's a Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. Number two, SARS. SARS means Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. So these are the the coronavirus types. Then come to the elaborate structure of this novel coronavirus COVID-19. It is again a new strain. We don't know exactly how it originated and when, where, etc. Of course, this coronavirus has not been identified previously. That's why we called as this corona is a novel. It's a novel coronavirus, NCOV. We call in the abbreviation. This coronavirus disease, 2019 December, starts is an infectious disease caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus type 2. That's what we call as the SARS-CoV-2, a virus which is closely related to the SARS, the virus types. So this 2019, the novel CoV, the novel coronavirus, has been given the official name as COVID-19. COVID-19. Officially, this 2019 year of beginning to the pandemic to everywhere has given as the name COVID-19. Then WHO, the World Health Organization, declared this COVID-19 infections as a public health emergency of international concern, and later it is a pandemic, as I mentioned earlier. Later it is a international spread over to every country of the whole world and now become they call as a pandemic situation. And viruses and viral infection. How it normally happens? So normally virus or viruses found everywhere and their origin are, again as I said earlier, unclear. Where it originated, nobody knows. Neither dead nor alive, but to be considered inhabiting the edge of life. The edge of life. It have a simple structure. The virus is a simple structure. What? A genetic material. A genetic material, either DNA or RNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid or ribonucleic acid, which contains a genetic material, number one. Then it's surrounded by a protein. It's surrounded by a protein called capsid. The protein which is surrounded by this genetic material is called capsid. So these viruses have genes, it proved. So they don't have a cellular structure like any other the multicellular organisms, and hence the virus cannot be reproduced without infecting a cell. That's why we used to say that this virus will find a host, find a platform, find another cell to infect, and with the help of the infected the cell or the host cell, it will reproduce. So that is the habit of this type of the virus. So generally, this assembled inside the cell, and using the machinery of the host cell, and they reproduce and they produce copies of themselves. Once it attached to the other host cell, or which may be of any type or any animal, and later it has the capacity to produce a mimic of their own the structure by themselves. So it has the copies of producing many as type of the original the virus. So this virus release of virus from the host cell causes bursting of its membrane and cell wall, thus killing the cell. Once it enters into the host cell, what it will do? Number one, I think this release of the virus from the host cell causes number one bursting of its membrane and cell wall, and then followed by it killing the cell. This is the normal the effect of the virus which enter into the another the host cell globally. Now we come to the picture that how after this globally late after 16th of August of this time as of now reported by the WHO, the confirmed COVID-19 cases all over the world, which is around 21.6 million. 21.6 million the population or the human have been affected by the COVID-19. Come to the death, almost 774,000 of population or like an individual have been affected by this COVID-19, and simultaneously we have a recovered of the cases 13.6 million. So out of 21.6 million confirmed cases, 774 are death in terms of thousand, and then recovered 13.6 million which have been situated by the position situated or allowed by the WHO with reference to various continents: America, Europe, Southeast Asia, Eastern Mediterranean, as Africa, and then Western Pacific including Asia. So now we will see the examples of some of the countries. For example, United States, as of the end of or we can say that the beginning of the first week of August, we have total coronavirus cases nearly 48,62,210 in the case of the coronavirus cases alarmed in the United States. How many deaths? Nearly 58,930. And how many cases are recovered? Almost nearly equal to 15 lakhs. So similar way, come to the Brazil. Total coronavirus cases nearly 27 lakhs, and then death 94,000, and then recovered cases 19 lakhs. Come to the picture of the India, almost as of the August first week, nearly 18 lakhs, and then coronavirus death 38,000, and recovered cases nearly 12 lakhs. So out of 18 or 19 lakhs, I can say approximately 12 lakhs have been recovered, and nearly 38.993 and thousands have been death recovered. Similar way in Russia, South Africa, Mexico. So thus I think I have given only some examples of the countries which have been affected by this coronavirus late after December until of the August. So these are the casualties or otherwise mortalities and then recovered cases as of the infectious diseases in caused to the human. So this is the pandemic by region. So here I think we can see that all the global levels, North America, South Asia, European Union, Middle East, Central Asia, Southern Saharan, Central America, Europe, and then East Asia, North Africa, Pacific, the Philippines, Caribbean islands, etc. So these are the total cases of the COVID, and these are all the death cases, mortality cases, and then what are the cases as per the million and deaths, and then per million population altogether. So I think this was the total number of cases which have been taken with reference to the death and the number of cases affected, population, etc., which has been focused by the World Health Organization till of the first week of the August 2020. So this virus, this coronavirus can be classified as a DNA virus and RNA virus based on the genetic material within them. Suppose if a virus having DNA alone, we will have that it's a DNA virus. If a virus having its COVID virus contains only RNA as a genetic material with them, it is called the RNA virus. So, based on that presence of the DNA and RNA, the genetic material, the ribonucleic acids content in that, and it is classified in the two types. So, what do you mean by that? The DNA virus. A DNA virus in the same type of the COVID-19, a DNA virus enters the nucleus. It enters the nucleus of the host cell. It is a behavior. It is the intrinsic behavior of the DNA virus of the COVID-19 which enters in the nucleus of the host cell and using with the help of the cell's enzyme. The enzyme secreted in the cells and it replicates the viral DNA which belong to called the DNA virus. So, DNA virus replicated with the help of the host cells, enzymes and replicate, and normally it enters to the nucleus, the central port of the nucleus of the cell. Then come to the picture of the RNA virus. The RNA virus of this COVID-19, and one RNA virus will inject the RNA of the genetic material into the cytoplasm. Into the cytoplasm, the material inside a living cell excluding the nucleus. I think excluding the nucleus, it occupies the space of the whole cytoplasm to synthesize the proteins and form the replica of the RNA virus. I think how it's very, I think it's a wonder situation that we can say that even in the COVID, a single virus of that it has both two occurrence. One is the DNA virus and enters only to the nucleus, and another virus where it will inject the RNA only to the cytoplasm. So, alternately, this RNA can be converted. See, again, as interesting phenomena. Alternatively, the RNA can be converted into DNA using a process called reverse transcription. So, during transcription, this RNA can be converted into DNA. See, this wonderful situation of the RNA replication inside the host cell. So, this DNA will be integrated with that of the host DNA in a process similar to a DNA virus. So, this is the replication or the reproduction of the virus. Now, the coronavirus genome is an assembly of the many genes. See here, the coronavirus consists of an RNA genome and is one of the largest in the RNA family. So, these coronavirus are enveloped and contain, as I mentioned, a single standard positive sense of the RNA. This RNA attached to the host cell's ribosome for the translation inside the cell other than the nucleus. So, this positive sense of the RNA can function as the messenger RNA. It acts as a messenger RNA, meaning that the viral RNA sequence will be directly translated into the desired viral protein. So, it acts as a messenger of the RNA. The viral DNA sequence may be directly translated into the desired viral proteins. So, these are the phenomena occurs in the RNA and DNA during the translation, transcription, the moments. And then the coronavirus, the origin. How it originates, as I mentioned, and transmit. So, nobody knows still now that how it originates. So, that is a hypothesis, or we can say speculation, that it originates in animals like camels, but nobody knows exactly from camels and from bats. So, that's why it is called a zoonotic disease, as it passes from these animals, either camel or the bats, to the humans occasionally. The source of the zoonotic disease is called the reservoir species. That means for SARS, the reservoir species was identified as bats. The first was reported in the Chinese city Wuhan in December 2019 in China, and which was traced to an animal market in the city, in the Wuhan city. So first it was identified in a or traced in a market animal. So as per WHO, the disease spreads in the humans via exposure to the respiratory secretions from the small droplets from the nose or mouth of an infected person, either directly or indirectly. So this is what how the virus spreads into the humans via the through the mainly through the respiratory I think the entry, or through the respiratory means both by nose and by the mouth. So next is the transmission, and next the reproduction. The reproduction number, the multiplication, or is called as R0, is a measure of the transmissibility that aims to describe the average number of a people a new case will infect. For COVID-19, WHO estimates that every virus has the R number. Now here, this virus contains the R, the 0 is equal to 1.4 to 2.5, the reproduction capacity. So the multiplication is at the rate of, we can say in a rate 2.5 times maximum. So however, many researchers think this figure is underestimated. Again, nobody knows that how it normally this cell, the division occurs or reproduction occurs in this case. So maybe the virus is a mutated one, we don't know. Normally in a global sphere, in the upper, we call it the global level, many, even including the terrestrial surface, many viruses are there. Sometimes these microorganisms may mutate. Sometimes after the mutation, some may cause positive effect and some may cause negative effect. But this mutation in this virus strain is enabling it to be a more efficiently transmitted. So that is the case, that's why it spread in a very vigorously from the animal to the human, and then human to again to the human in a alarming situation. So this, the coronavirus, okay, once it infected, so what is the manifestations? That means clinical manifestations. So it affects normally the upper respiratory tract with varying severity. First, this is the entry of the respiratory tract number 1. Once it enters to the respiratory tract, respiratory infections ranging from the what it calls common cold number 1, and then to bronchiolitis, pneumonia, gastroenteritis, and then neurological disorders. Slowly, one by one, which causes in a series of the sequence. First, it's enter into the respiratory tract, common cold will occur, then it enters into the bronchus of the lungs, causes the bronchiolitis, and then it causes the pneumonia, the fever, and then it enters into the alimentary portion of the digestive system, and then also it affects the neurons, and later leads to the neurological disorders. So other symptoms which are called associated symptoms of the main one we call it the headache, the chilling effects, sore throat, and cough. So the incubation period of this virus is from 2 to, that is 48 hours to maximum 5 days, and symptoms have a range to 3 to 18 days. That's why once it's affected, I think it will be in the body from a range to 3 to 18 days in a host cell, or otherwise the host cell we call here is the human. That's why we used to keep away from one patient to another patient who affected by this the virus we call as the pandemic situation, we call the quarantine. So the quarantine is necessary to get rid of the problem because of these symptoms ranging from 3 to 18 days. So this coronavirus as the prevention. So normally we used to say everywhere prevention is better than cure. So of course the cure, the treatment is later. So we will see both together what is the prevention effect and then treatment we have to follow. So no vaccine is, I am mentioning here, no vaccine is currently available to prevent COVID-19. Still, the scientists, the doctors, the microbiologists, the virologists, the biotechnologists, all are working in their laboratories in all over the country to find a suitable vaccine for this coronavirus. So next, so one, the avoiding exposure is the only way for the prevention. So this is the only way we can avoid. That's why we used to say that prevention is by only the social distancing from one person to another person. So that will be more cautious for the human from the get rid of this coronavirus infection. Then preventive actions. What are the preventive actions we have to take care? Number one, avoiding close contact with infected people. Number two, avoiding touching frequently to our eyes, nose and mouth, because these are the entry point of the virus from the hands or from the fingers to the eyes, nose and mouth. And then staying home when infected and using a face mask. That is most important. So face cover should be both for mouth and the nose should be, I think, is a mandate. And then covering while coughing or sneezing. We have to do that with the handkerchief. And then disinfecting frequently touched objects and surfaces. So we have to use some of the sterilizing agents against the objects of these the surfaces who have already been infected by this virus. So far no specific antiviral treatment is recommended for COVID-19. All we have been doing as a trial and error of the records, because still no one has found a vaccine and no one has found the drug against the COVID-19. So infected people should receive supportive care based on symptoms. And for severe cases, treatment should be support vital organ functions against the coronavirus 19. So this picture will give you the illustrative of all how the symptoms. You could see this. The symptoms through the first one is the dry cough. Once the virus get into the mouth or nose, dry cough. Then later I mentioned high fever, high temperature. That's why we used to measure the temperature first of these the COVID-19 infected persons. And then we have the sore throat. And then fourth one is the difficulty in breathing once it enter into the bronchus, or the otherwise called the lungs. So I think these are the serious problems of the symptoms. Then how it spreads? As I mentioned that we don't know exactly, but the cases against that one, it's again normal virus like that. It spread by air, by cough or sneeze of the infected persons, and then personal contact by shaking of the hands, and then contaminated objects like bottles, PET bottles, and then containers, etc. And then mass gathering inside without making the social distancing that way. So these are the way that they spreads from one human to another human by way of they spread over. And then prevention. So what is the prevention? Always. That's why we used to say that the doctors are advising every 2 hours we should wash our hands often. Again, wear a mask, face mask, both for nose and the mouth together. And then avoid contact with the sick people, this best. And then avoid always cover your cough or sneeze with the handkerchiefs. So these are the way that we have to take care against the symptoms, how about is spread, and then prevention. So these are the coronavirus types of the COVID-19, what we call as that. And what are the other the coronaviruses? So there are 2 other human coronavirus we call as MERS-CoV and then SARS-CoV, where previously we have been identified. And this Middle East respiratory syndrome we called as the MERS, which was reported in Arabian Peninsula, and symptoms of this Middle East respiratory syndrome MERS type of the the coronavirus is called the symptoms like fever, cough, and shortness of breath and pneumonia. So about 3 to 4 out of every the 10 persons reported with MERS have died also in the Middle East region, that is the Arabian Peninsula, which was caused by the Middle East respiratory syndrome, the MERS type of the coronavirus. Number 2, so again the name itself is mentioned that severe acute, not only acute, not only severe, it both severe acute respiratory syndrome called SARS epidemic. It started when the virus spread from small mammals in China. Later it became pandemic. So symptoms again like the earlier one, like MERS, fever, chilling and body aches, and severe pneumonia and breathing difficulty. So the SARS is more deadly but much less infections than COVID-19. So there have been no outbreaks of SARS anywhere in the world since 2003 onwards. So these are the other two types of the coronavirus which has already been in the world. So next, I think we have seen that what are the various types of coronavirus, and based on the presence of the genetic material and how it transmits, how it replicates, and once it's replicated, how it been having showing the hostal symptoms, and then what are the precautions, prevention, everything we have seen. And now we have to see that how to test, how to get tested for the coronavirus. So normally based on the infection to a particular region, number one, the swab test. The swab test, it means in this case the swab is used to take a sample from your nose or throat. So the sample will be taken from the nose or throat, and this will be tested against this coronavirus. Is called the swab test. Then number two, nasal test. That is a nasal aspirate. So in this case, a saline solution will be injected into our nose, and then a sample is taken with a light suction. With the syringe, they will suction the aspirate of the nasal region, and that will be tested against the coronavirus. And tracheal aspirate. So this is the third, similar to the nasal aspirate, here the tracheal aspirate. So in this case, a thin tube with a torch, also known as a bronchoscope, is put into your mouth till to reach your lungs, from where sample is collected. So a tube will be injected along with the light, the torch, the bronchoscope, till to the end of the lungs, and they will take the sample and test against the coronavirus. So this is called the tracheal aspirate. Then fourth is the sputum test. The sputum test is the thick mucus that gets accumulated in the lungs and comes out with a cough. So this sputum will be collected. So during this test, you are required to cough up sputum in a special cup, or a swab is used to take a sample from your nose. So the sputum will be collected and will comes secreted from the bronchus of the lungs, and will be tested against the coronavirus, which is called the sputum test. And the last one is the blood test. So in this case, a blood sample is taken directly from the vein in the arm, and it will be tested against this. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available tests. Now they are testing against the coronavirus from the swab, from the nostril region, from the tracheal region, from the sputum, and from the blood. So here you can see that a child being tested by the coronavirus from the nose. We can see that's a trachea test. And then coronavirus testing of a boy, adult boy. You could see that how they are penetrating the tube inside the nose and then taking the samples. And then this is coronavirus testing of the adult, the lady, through the mouth. And these tests also have been tested very recently to our Bollywood, the megastar Amitabh Bachchan family too. So, after taking the samples from the nozzle, from the trachea, or either from the blood, or any other the means of the entry of this virus into the body, how the diagnostic tests were performed. So here, the very efficient test is the rapid diagnostic test based on antigen detection. This is most accurate as of now. So here, sample of the respiratory tract of a person, affected person, help to detect the viral proteins, that is antigens, related to the COVID-19 virus, and this ensures the speedy and accurate, as I mentioned, diagnosis, and its usage is the CDC approved. So this is what now the doctors are doing in the clinical laboratories. The other one, the rapid diagnostic test based on the host antibody detection. First one is the antigen and second one is the antibody detection. So here in this test it detects the presence of the antibodies in the blood COVID-19 infected people, infected human. The strength of the antibody response depends on the several factors like age, the medications, infection, and severity of the COVID disease, etc. So this is the second test. One is the test called as the antigen, and second one is the antibody detection. So before the test, the concerned health professional may request to wear a mask during the test of the both types. In case there are many other steps that need to be taken, the healthcare professional, the nurses and doctors can communicate that to you. So after that, it brings to the microbiology or the virology, the laboratories, and they are testing, they are keeping the samples in the vials, and they are testing for the virus positive. You could see that the picture. So normally this type of tests are normally be conducted with the help of the RT-PCR, the polymerase chain reaction, the instruments. So with this instrument, both the tests are being conducted. And now next is the coronavirus test comes positive. Okay, suppose you tested with various samples of your body once you have the positive symptoms. So what next? So steps you can follow to ease of the symptoms are: number one, what? Drinking a lot of fluid. Drinking of what? More water, that too hot waters to be preferable. And getting plenty of rest, that is must. And taking over the counter medicines. Whatever I think that if you have cough, you have to take counter. If you have the fever, you have to take the counter medicine. If you have the bronchitis problem, you have to take the medicine. So I think depends upon the symptoms, you have to take the counter medicines, and don't leave home unless to get medical help. So you should not leave to the public to spread the diseases to the other people. Always wear a face mask, which I said earlier, in public places, or when you are around the other people or around the other people. Don't share any personal items such as which I mentioned, drinking cups, eating plates, towels, or any other items with anybody, because I think these are all the precautionary way that. So next, always, as I mentioned, wash your hand thoroughly for around 20 seconds. You have to wash it in the running tap water, or with the help of anything. During the washing, you have to use the soap water. Soap water is not available. You can use alcohol-based the sanitizer, and which at least contains 60% of the alcohol. That will have a clear washing of your the COVID virus in your fingers or hands or in the touching body. And wash your hands thoroughly for 20 seconds, and use alcohol-based sanitizers. Suppose you are not having the soap water. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth a lot. So this is they very caution that you should not, touch the eyes with your fingers, nose and mouth, and if possible, avoid being close to people who are sneezing and coughing. Clean the household items which are frequently handled with a disinfectant spray. And drugs. As of now, as I mentioned, we so far nobody has find out the drug for the COVID-19, and then nobody has find out the the vaccine against this coronavirus 19. But still, the scientists, the biologists, the biotechnologists, the virologists are working hard to find a better to deliver either vaccine or the drug. Even in one of my the media propaganda, I have given and I have requested our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, I suppose any one of the Indian scientists who delivered or who had invented a drug of this should be rewarded, should be awarded of nearly 10 crores to that individual. If it is a sharing one, you can also and then also the laboratory of the concern, the invented laboratory should be awarded or been recognized as a national, recognizing for the laboratory for the COVID-19, and nearly 100 crores should be given for this. And then again also I have mentioned that I will appeal to our Honorable Prime Minister to that there is a separate division should be a mission should be developed against this COVID-19. I have mentioned during January one of my the media report. So what is the drug treatment presently available for the coronavirus? So as of now there may be, as I mentioned, a case against the pneumonia fever and etc. Number one, the drug they have been advocated or now have been advocated is the hydroxy, the chloroquine, which was first developed in India for the development of the malarial fever, the malarial virus, and two Indian firms, one is IPCA Laboratories and then Zydus Cadila Limited are the world's largest manufacturers of the hydroxychloroquine, and this later the Indian Council of Medical Research has also been using the drug to prevent the infection among the healthcare workers based on the theoretical evidence that the hydroxychloroquine does not allow the novel virus, the coronavirus or the SARS-CoV-2 to attack the cells. Again, now it has been now in the USA. Earlier they used, now I think now little bit care on the use of the hydroxychloroquine. And next is the Covifar, and the Drug Controller General of India, DCGI, has given approval to the Hetero for manufacturing the remdesivir for the treatment of the COVID-19. This hetero genetic version, the remdesivir, will be marketed under the brand name of the Covifar in India and for the treatment of the suspected or the laboratory confirmed cases of this type of the COVID-19 in adults and children hospitalized with the severe symptoms of the COVID disease. So these are the two drugs, and followed that FabiFlu, the Glenmark Pharmaceuticals has launched the antiviral drug, the Favipiravir under the brand name of the FabiFlu for the treatment mild to moderate COVID patients, priced at nearly 103 per tablet. The prescription based on the drug will be available as a 200 mg tablet at the MRP of rupees 3,500 for a strip of 34. The tablets have been recently released. And then another fourth is the Ciprimi. Cipla has launched its own the remdesivir under the name of the Ciprimi. This drug is most effective on those who need oxygen support. So this Cipla is yet to disclose the pricing for the drug. The fourth drug they have been working on that. And then fifth one is the methyl pre-dinosolone. The Indian doctors have been successfully using this methyl pre-dinisolone in handling the moderate to severe cases of this disease. It reduces its overall mortality and is a more essential part of the treatment regimen. Also, it reduces the severity. It also reduces severity of the symptoms where the doctors are claiming, and dexamethasone is supported by a large trial and it's a cost-effective drug. It is again the same group of the earlier one. So these are the various drugs have been used in the markets in the various hospitals. And against the drugs, we have also been working on the vaccine. And now, according to the WHO, more than 150 vaccine candidates are undergoing trials. They have been working all over the world, as I mentioned, in different parts. And then the Oxford vaccine, the vaccine being developed by Pharma, and they have been using against this. And then major Moderna in the US, they have been trying. And then Chinese firm, the Sinovac Biotech, have reached the stage of the third stage of the trial. Also, these tests are usually the most expensive and extensive before a vaccine is given the regulatory approval. Once it gets approval, it will be marketed in the less price. So the Oxford vaccine, for instance, were administered to a little more than 1,000 people in the initial trials. So it will reportedly to be tested on more than 30,000 people in different parts of the world, 1,600 of them in India in the final phase. So these are the various trials have been working on the vaccines of the different world. So next is the impact. So based on that, it's a global impact of this novel coronavirus. That's why we call it as a pandemic, because it's an epidemic started and spread all over the world, widespread and worldwide, and is no longer confined to a particular region. And that's why this COVID-19 is fast approaching pandemic status, with many countries implementing the pandemic measures. So next is we will see that what are the various effects on the economy. So late after December 19, 2019, it has a serious impacts to all. It affects the social life, it affects the economy, it affects the health, it affects the environment, it affects everything and the total of the ecosystem, whether it is a terrestrial ecosystem or the other ecosystem of that one related to that. So what it first impacted is, number one, is the global supply chain. Almost the commodities to the human need is completely has been disturbed because of this coronavirus, the COVID-19, is showing slowing growing trade. It affected the tariff related tensions. More about that. So goods and economics like automotive, hardware, electrical equipment, consumer products, almost all the industries related one, the supply chain has been severely affected. So because of that, the global GDP, that is GDP, is also affected every country. The economy status have been almost has been paralyzed with reference to the COVID-19. It affects not only the economy, trade and art, and then also it affects the airlines and tourism. So here the market across the world reacted adversely, and fears of a global the recession have been stoked and all over the world, which caused a global economic loss. Next is the social impact because of the COVID-19, and which has also a very serious impact to. Next is the what you call the social impact. So the health impact, the infected population be distress, and then pandemics leads to the disproportionately higher effect on younger people, and shortage of protective equipment and other necessities due to the panic buying and hoarding behavior stop, and then increase of the burden of the death care infrastructure and lack of access to routine healthcare problem, and then sudden population movement, as I mentioned in my first the precautionary the movements due to the large scale disease outbreak can also disturbing migration is a very serious problem from one place to another, and then that leads to the spreading of the disease. Then outbreak of the infections, diseases can Further, the stigmatizes already vulnerable social groups and increasing the existing social inequalities, and then the spread of the rumor and misinformation through the media and etc. So altogether it adversely affect the social life of the people in every world of this. See the students attending the classes in a remote village, how a teacher taking class in a remote village in the roadside. You could see that during the COVID pandemic period. So this is the stage. You can see that actually in our children never wear this mask. So now I think the children are wearing mask and then they are reading. See, a mother teaching online classes. How the technology developed because of this COVID-19. Of course, the technology developed, but see that how a slum area, a lady being teaching with the help of the mobile phone for the pandemic situation through the online classes to his wards, son and daughter. See, a mother teaching online classes using her mobile phone during this condition in the slum area. And then a child, see, and attending online class with the help of the desktop computer. See the online classes, how the students is using the tab. You could see that. And see more about that, the teaching community, now they are teaching before the laptops, and they are using the online classes every day. So online classes during the COVID-19 pandemic period, you could see that how a teacher in her house is teaching to the students of the plenty of number in their homes, reaching home. See, the most of the classes have moved online due to this coronavirus, the restrictions, using the mobile phone as a tool of the camera. See, not only that, the classes, and then also the physical education, all the sports education also now. Physical education teacher is teaching through the mobiles, through the laptops in the field, how to teach the sport activities. You could see that through the online. See, in between, see our teachers are testing for the online classes rooms. You can see that COVID testing with a thermo test. See now the economics teacher, not only the economics teacher, and then every teacher, history, physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, every teacher now taking online classes through their laptops, COVID-19 pandemic period. So next is the environment. So impact on climate change. So now one way we can say that it is other way it is a positive, other way it is a negative. So here the emissions of the carbon dioxide certainly will decrease as a result of the lockdown rules set by most of the countries. You know why? Because of the less emissions from the what? From the vehicles, from the automobiles, from the airplanes. So here automobile and air traffic has decreased considerably, show that the air pollution from the we call it the greenhouse gas emissions, nitrogen oxide, another transportation polluter, has decreased significantly in almost all the countries. Even in in northern India, we used to have the problem of the airborne particles in Delhi. So almost it has been reduced, and then a comparable reduction of the carbon dioxide emissions also reduced in India, and because of this pandemic situation, where no transportation, no automobiles, nothing, that leads to the reduction across the industrial countries, and they improve the climate change. That too leads because of the greenhouse gas emissions lesser in the quantity. So because of that, it has the serious impact on the air quality also. So generally the impact on travel and industry, many regions and the planet as a whole experience a drop in the air pollution, which I mentioned. So during this quarantine period, and then for the lockdown of the every major metropolitan cities, the travel bans, and which resulted in the 25% of the reduction in the carbon emissions in China and also in the all over the world. One, the research study conducted during the pandemic period by the European Space Agency, they observed a marked decline of the oxides of nitrogen emissions from the cars, power plants and factories. And similarly, the NASA scientists, they have also been notified that a drop in the NO2 pollution because of this problem. A joint research by the scientists, the China and US, they have estimated that the NOx, that is the oxides of nitrogen, NO2 emissions were decreased by 50% in the China and other countries. So here altogether emissions then increased by 26% from 10 February back to the work that also have been occurred in that regions. So altogether the air quality is improved largely because of a reduction in the factory and the road traffic emissions because of what the carbon dioxide, the nitrogen oxide and related ozone formation and particulate matter. So now the air quality levels in the world's major cities improved drastically in the period of the pandemic. What's the status to the water quality? So here the improvement in the surface water quality in terms of the suspended particles matter, we call as SPM, in the Wabanad Lake, the largest the freshwater lake in India, is almost it is clear. In Venice, the water in the canals are almost cleared and experience a greater water flow because of the no traffic and no boat traffic and no the vehicular traffic or no the population in that area. So the water quality of the Ganges river and the Yamuna river has improved significantly in the pandemic region, the pandemic period, which because of the reduced industrial activities flowing into that. And then river Ganga, the water quality has improved with the increase of the DO, the dissolved oxygen. So which will have a more conducive for the freshwater fishes and then also the phytoplanktons. And then also it contributes to, as I mentioned, that DO increases during the lockdown period of the Ganges in the tributaries also. So what next to that is the impact on the wildlife. So the demand for fish and fish processors have both decreased due to the pandemic period. We never consume. So because of the fishing fleets around the world now sit mostly idle because of the pandemic period. So here the fish biomass will increase due to a sharp decline in the fishing activities and projected to double in the fish biomass surely. Some animals have been spotted in the cities very near to the Kodaikanal, Ooty and then also in the Western Ghats regions. We could see the many animals, deers and then also the bison and so on. And sea turtles were spotted laying eggs in the beaches in the offshore area of the Bay of Bengal. And then African countries experience the massive surge of the bush meat poaching is less, and then poaching and illegal entry is almost restricted because of the pandemic period. So altogether the disruption from the pandemic provided cover for illegal deforestation operations too. Even in Brazil they mentioned the satellite imagery showed that the lower deforestation rate also they mentioned in this pandemic period. So what the negative impact is because of the use of large scale of the plastic mask and for this cover to our nose and mouth and during the release disposal, which may cause also a problem to the natural environment, which add to the burden in terms of the plastic waste the problem. So altogether which has a cause for the concern, which cause a radical change in the human behavior in the world, in the country, and will have a positive and negative both consequences and impacts for wildlife and natural ecosystem has been little bit improved, and then we have improved better air quality, healthy the vibrant and flourishing ecosystem during the coronavirus period, and decline in happening because of the economic meltdown in which thousands of people are losing their livelihoods is a problem, and decline in the demand of the fossil fuel which has been reduced the prices, which in turn may affect the consumption pattern in the post-lockdown period may occur, and then the work from home idea can reduce the footfalls to offices, thereby reducing fossil fuel consumption due to transit and during the transportation. And then in order to make up for the economic losses, the governments across the globe may loosen the environmental laws which may cause more harm than good. The pandemic will change the consumption pattern, particularly the food, and may cause the price, the volatility, and then the ultimately affecting the poor and the deprived section of the population. So it has also a serious concern. What the final conclusion to mention here is the everything on our planet is interconnected. To help prevent the next pandemic, we should not happen, but anyhow, to help prevent the next pandemic, we must transform our relationship with nature. We must transform our relationship with nature. So to conclude, India faces a clear and present danger spreading COVID-19. The central and state government and the local government need to synchronize their actions to identify and isolate potential cases. They have been working lot day and night to get rid of this problem. I know my special the compliments goes to the every individual who are taking care against the patients who are affected by the COVID, the sanitary workers, the doctors, the police, the health officials, and then including the government officials from the lowest to about the highest of the executive authority. They have been taken very serious in this, and doing service to the nation. So here the key institution must be identified as a source of their resource centers to act as the nodal points for contact tracing, testing, communication, and case management that already most of the government has been doing. Special focus must be on point for entry screening. That is also we have been doing. Further, in the large term perspective, a well-researched epidemic management strategy delineating the roles of different authorities must be taken. An action point of every stages need to be formulated. That also we have been doing wonderfully. So altogether, what we require of the present state until we find a solution for the drug and for vaccine, stay at home. Stay at home, stop coronavirus, keep social distance, minimum 6 feet in between two, and stay alert, control the virus, save lives. Thank you. Thank you one and all.